everyone, Kelly Manzone here. I'm back for the month of April, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And class will later be uploaded to both the Stick Mobility IG main page and YouTube. So I've got a 15-week-old puppy at home, and she's sleeping right here, hoping that she does not disturb the class. For today, we're going to need our stick mobility bundle. So that's one short stick and the two long sticks. We're going to focus on mobilizing our neck down, working into the feet, and then for our strength work today, we're going to go into some single leg RDLs, lunges, and some core work. To get started, also, if you need anything for your knee, I meant to say, grab a towel or a pillow because we will be doing a half kneeling monkey hang later in the kneeling position. So we're going to take our short stick behind the swell of our back, probably like mid T-spine, right? And I want you to claim your horse stance. So in your horse stance, you're going to grip the ground with your feet, soften into the bend of the knees, and then I want you to close your palms so they face up, and then corkscrew the palms upward towards the ceiling. We're going to take those shoulders down and back, and now take a moment to close the rib cage. So if you see me from the side view in the horse stance, I'm not in an anterior tilt, right? My shoulders are going to stack right above the hip line. I'm going to squeeze into the glutes. Working into the neck first, again, taking those shoulders down and back. We're going to do some neck nods. So you're going to tuck your chin to your chest, looking down, and then upward towards the ceiling. We're going to do this a few times. And remember, our eyes are going to lead the head. So nice and slow, never working into pain. One more, nice and controlled. Tucking the chin to the chest, looking down like you dropped something on your shirt, and then upward towards the ceiling. Looking left and right, so we're looking to left first, and then over to the right. So I'm aware that the camera kind of flips the sides, so even though I'm saying I'm turning my head to the left, I know that's my right, but I want you to be able to follow along with me. So we're going to do one more on each side. Come back to neutral, and then dip your left ear towards your left shoulder. There's a slight tuck of your chin. I just got a nice release in my neck. This feels so good. We're going to do one more and then go over to the other side. Back through center. Now to the right without hiking up those shoulders. So again, shoulders stay down. You're maintaining your horse stance. We're stretching levator and scalenes, our secondary breathing muscles. And now we're going to go into a circle. I'm going to lead to my right first. So tucking the chin, nice and controlled. Again, maintaining that horse stance. So notice if you start to come out of it. Come back to center. And then down left, up to the right. And if you can, practice diaphragmatic breathing. So your mouth would be closed, tongue would be resting on the roof of the mouth, breathing through the nose. Now coming center, I want you to take your palms now and flex them. Push forward into the stick as you pat those shoulders down and back. So you're going to feel a little bit of a stretch through the front line, more focus on the chest. I'm going to rotate without moving my hips to my right, and now through center, to the left. Eyes leading the head, so I'm kind of weaving in some original strength reset concepts. Again, back over to the right. My hip bones continue to face forward. Now let's add rotation. I'm going to pivot on that left foot, squeeze into the glute, through center, pivot, working into the hip. So my left foot is really grounded. That right foot, ball of the foot, I'm driving down. Again, twist and rotate. I'm still applying about maybe 20% of pressure into the stick as I work into that front line. Pivot and squeeze. One more as we come through center, and then realign. Take a moment, lower the stick to your small of your back, and then roll out through the shoulders for a moment. Moving into shoulder dislocates. One of my favorites, but there are a lot of common mistakes. I want you to be mindful of the alignment with your chin, with taking out that interior tilt. And when we're going into our dislocate, all fingers are going to stay connected to the stick. So oftentimes people will go back really far, taking their pinky and ring finger off, and not really tapping into their real range of motion. So going into that horse stance, I'll go from front view and side view, bend into the knees. Now take those shoulders down and back, close the rib cage. Pull apart on your stick, 20-30% tension. You're going to elevate your arms, keeping the chin neutral, and only go back to where you are comfortable. As you come forward and that stick is coming over the forehead, push into the stick, lower the stick towards the hip line. Pull apart again, up, again, never working into pain. Keep those shoulders down and back, push into the stick as it goes over the forehead. I'm going to go on profile here. So again, you can see me in that horse stance. Glutes are on, chin is neutral, rib cage is closed. Go to where you can comfortably. Come forward, push into the stick. We have one more. Pull apart. That back should feel nice and activated. Shoulders down. Go to where you can comfortably. Come forward, keeping those shoulders down, and then push into the stick. Now we're going to go into a circle, and then we're going to focus for a moment on the triceps. Returning to your horse stance, take your stick to the right side. Simply lift the left arm, come up, arms straight, take it to the right and around, just like so. Excuse me, right to left. I think I messed up there on the direction. I apologize. Now take the next one up, pause here. Your left arm, right, that bicep should be in line with the ear. Lengthen the legs just a little bit, push down into the feet, squeeze the glutes, keep the rib cage closed. And now I'm going to pull down with my right arm, angle, look up to the right. Come back through center, pull down, left arm. I did that again, apologies. Now this time, look up to the right, hold. Through center, one more time. Pulling down with that right arm, left arm lengthens. Up through center. Now taking that left arm, pull down with the left. And gentle lean. So think of lifting up and out of the rib cage, out of the hip line. Back through center, lower the stick. Last one here. So you're going to take your 4-foot or 5-foot stick, place the palms to the outside. Reclaim that horse stance, and then we're going to just shift up and over like a pendulum. Bicep in line with the ear. So I like to really warm up with these drills before I get into any kettlebell work, whether it's pressing, snatching, get-ups, or swinging maces or clubs. Sandbag work too. Anything really, because especially with racket athletes. So let's do one more each side. Excellent. Coming back through center, we're going to place our short stick down. Moving on to one of our long sticks, articulating into the feet, because before we get into our RDL series and our lunges, it's really important to work into the toes, foot-ankle complex. Taking your long stick, I'm going to go on a diagonal here. Have your left hand on top or right hand, it doesn't matter. Arms are straight and you're not up too high, so about sternum height. Reclaim that horse stance, pull in the rib cage, watch the alignment with the tailbone and keep those glutes on. So the outside foot, this happens to be my left. I'm going to releve and then lower the heel. Inhale, exhale, releve. I want you to really focus on working into the toes. Foot health is so important, right? Besides our senses, our hands and our feet are some of the first lines of contact with the outside world, and it's so important to keep them healthy, especially as we get older. I'm in my 40s and I feel better than ever, and I want to stay that way for the long haul. Switching over to the other side, push down into the ball of the foot and really articulate through the toes. I'm only pushing about 20-30% of tension down into the stick and noticing if there's a difference between my right and left side. So I want you to kind of take some notes throughout class. And if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Let's do one more. Come neutral for a moment, and now we're going to circle out and around, getting right into those toes. So I'm going to try my best to make sure the action comes from the feet first, not compensating from the knee or from the hip. And now change direction, inward, working right into the pad of the feet, into the toes, keeping that horse stance. Good. Through center, release. Take a moment to switch the hands. Pack those shoulders again, circle out, in and around. Work from that angle as much as possible. Again, notice if you're letting go of your horse stance. Nice calm shoulders, so they're packed and they're down and back, but they're not upward towards your ears. No tension in your neck. And then inward. So I can already tell that my inside right is a little bit tight today from all the rowing and running I did yesterday. Let's do one more circle and recover. Take a moment, shake out your legs. You're going to take your stick in front of you. So similar to your setup, if you were to go for a kettlebell swing, you're going to create that triangle. Now the left hand is going to be on top. The right hand is on the bottom. I'll go a little bit on a diagonal here. So you're going to hip hinge forward. Take the left arm across. So you'll see me from head on. Left arm across. And I want you to dip that left shoulder down and articulate your neck. Practice a little bit of diaphragmatic breathing. So I'm leaning, getting that nice stretch, and I'm irrigating that fascia. Moving the neck really helps to kind of floss and open up everything. Come up through center, and then we're going to switch to the other side. If you'd like, top hand. Hinge forward. That bicep has to clear, or the chin, I should say, has to clear that bicep. Then tilt that right shoulder down and get that neck moving. From right to left, nice and controlled. Come up. Switch hands. Let's do it one more time. Again, hip hinge. Dip that left shoulder, and you're going to look from side to side. Keeping that bottom arm right close to you. Upright. Take it across. Clear the bicep. Dip the shoulder and look from side to side. We've got one more exercise that we're going to do before we get into our leg work. I'm just going to start my timer. Going into slap shot. Love slap shot. Now it's your choice. I have a little bit of excessive range of motion in my joints, so sometimes I have a tendency to go too deep into a stretch, which back in my yoga days 20 years ago would get me in trouble. So if you're like me and you have a lot of hypermobility, please be mindful. And if you're a bit more restricted with your range of motion, find a stance in your slap shot that is comfortable for you. So you're going to take your stick to your lower back. Find a stance stepping out wide that is comfortable for you. And your palms are going to face forward towards me. Keeping first the hips balanced, hip hinge forward, sending the tailbone back. Now this right side is gonna come across to my left. I'm gonna hook it to the floor, working with whatever range of motion that I'm feeling right now. I'm actually really kind of restricted from training yesterday in my front line, so I'm not gonna take it too far over. And then I want you to bend into the right knee, look up towards the ceiling, then down to the floor. Again, look upward towards the ceiling. You could practice your diaphragmatic breathing, and then bend into the left. Get into that inner thigh. Hold here, look down to the floor, upward to the ceiling. Grip the ground with the feet. I can even feel that nice stretch through the ankle. Come back through center, back over one more time. Now I'm gonna go a little bit further into my stretch. I'm bending deeper into that right knee. Hold, look down to the floor, upward towards the ceiling. One more time, push into the ground, pull as you go over to the left. Look down, look up, nice straight arms, look down, look up, pause, shift, center, release the stick, come out of the hinge, take a moment, step it in, shake it out, and we're gonna go to the other side. So, wide stance, again, be mindful, work with your body and how it feels today. Hip hinge, forward. I'm gripping the ground with the feet, tailbone is back. Now, left side, I'm gonna hook to the floor as far as I can comfortably, still pretty squared. And now I'm gonna bend deep into my left knee, lengthen the right, look up towards the ceiling, down to the floor, again up towards the ceiling, that feels so good, down to the floor, pushing into the stick, pushing into my feet, now shifting that body weight, my right knee is bent, and I'm going to look up and down. So now you should feel a nice stretch through that inner thigh on that left side. Pause, take a moment, bend deep again. Maybe go a little bit further on the second one here. So I'm pushing my seat back. So instead of falling forward into the ball of the foot, I'm weighting heavily into the heel. Eyes down. Grip the ground and shift. Good. And then again, looking up, looking down. So your neck should feel nice and loose by now. Pause here through center. Shift to come into the middle. Release the stick, flat back. Drive up, heel, toe, in. Excellent. We're going to take hold now of our second tall stick. And we're going to do marching in place. Marching variations, whether it's locomotion, going, or in place, are fantastic. If you have a resistance band at home, and I did not add this into the class today just in case people don't own them, but if you happen to have one nearby, you could take a small resistance band, wrap it around the tops of the feet so you would step into it. It would go over the top of the foot and right underneath the arch of the foot to provide a little bit more activation. I'm going to go on a slight diagonal. So I want you to step in, and your sticks, if you're thinking of like a clock, your sticks are going to be at 11 and 1 o'clock. Instead of the arms being up high, I want you to take them, again, at about sternum height. So when you roll the shoulders down and back and start to push a little tension into the sticks, you should really feel your posterior line activate, right? So scaps, lats, everything is connected. Stand nice and tall. I want you to push about 40, maybe even 50% of your energy into the sticks. Now, again, important to note, they're not out here. You're going to angle the sticks at 11 and 1. Bottom of the stick is closer to you. And flex the feet. I really want you to activate your core. Watch your alignment. And pull that knee upward into the chest. flexing your foot. So you get a little bit of glute activation, hip activation, front line of the body is hard at work. Now, if you're really pushing, add maybe 10 to 20% more tension. So I'm at about 60. And wake up that body. Get a little warmth. Breathe. Your heart rate should start to elevate. Now bring that marching tension to about 70%, maybe 80. Push and drive. Continue on for 10 more seconds. Again, keep those shoulders down and back. Stay with it. Last 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. On 5, shake it out. If you need a sip of water, grab a sip of water. Now, into the RDLs. I have to admit, the RDL series, the Captain Morgan's, the 90-90, the shin box by Stick Mobility, such fantastic stuff, right? So again, said it earlier in class, if our hands and feet are healthy, most likely we'll have healthy hips. And if our hips are healthy, most likely we'll have healthy feet and hands. So I'm going to go on a diagonal. You know how we just had our sticks at like 11 and 1? We're going to do that once again. In our RDL series, we're first going to start with just a simple basic RDL. Then we're going to add a little bit of complexity by lifting the opposite arm. So this is my left leg. I'm going to take my left leg as my working leg. So angle those sticks, elevate the right leg. So again, working leg left, right leg is going to be the leg that elevates. Take a moment, and now one thing that I want to note, and I often see this sometimes with my clients, is a common mistake, or I see it as a mistake. If the arms are too high, they sometimes get into like a really funky position with the spine, and there's this anterior tilt, and you start to disconnect from the trunk of the body. So I want you to have your arms where when you go into the RDL and you're looking down at the ground, your biceps are in line with your ears. So I'm going to begin with my elbows bent. I'm lifting that right leg. I'm pushing into the stick. Now, as I come down into my RDL, I've already activated my back. Those marching positions really helped, that marching in place. And then inhale, exhale, drive up, activate that glute. Let's go nice and slow. So let's make it a 4 count on the next one. Start to hip hinge, sending the hip back. Take your right leg back. Check your body parallel. Squeeze that right glute. Hold for a moment. Inhale, exhale, drive up. Now we're going to do 3 more with adding a little bit of complexity by adding a balance element. So, hip hinge, send that right leg back, squeeze the glute. Now I'm driving down through my right foot, the right stick, and I'm going to lift the left stick. Hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, place the stick down, drive up. Now you should have a lot of heat in that leg. We have 2 more on this side. Start that hip hinge, send that right leg back behind you, but squeeze the seat. Drive down through that right stick, lift the left, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, stick down, drive up. That felt good. Here we go. 1 more. Hip hinge, pause, activate that right side, pat that lat, look down at the floor, lift that left stick, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, and drive up. Whew. That should feel good. I'm going to go on a diagonal here. So my right leg is now the working leg. The left leg is the one that's going to be going back. We're going to do 2 without the other stick lifting, and then perform 3 with the stick lifting. Get your stance. Start with the elbows bent. If you need to modify and you find like on your less dominant side it's too challenging, just maybe lift the stick an inch off the ground and shorten your count. So we're gonna hip hinge, pause, square off, length through the spine, stay connected through the trunk of the body, drive up, good. Pushing down into the sticks, hip hinge, lift the belly, make that connection, flex that back foot, squeeze the seat, drive up. So now we're gonna do 3 where we lift the stick. Focal point, hinge, parallel, parallel, pause. Now, pressing down through that left, lift the right arm, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, stick lowers, tension into the sticks, drive up. 2 more here. Hip hinge. All right, there's a softness to that knee, then that working leg, pack that shoulder, lift, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, lower the stick, drive up, complete it. So at the top, don't come shy, squeeze into that glute. Last one here, hinge, focal point, get that balance, pack the shoulder, lift 1, 2, 3, lower the stick, drive up all through that posterior chain. Excellent. Shake it out, recover for a moment. Now we're going to work the eccentric portion of a lunge. So we're doing back-to-back single leg drills today. So this is going to feel good. Take both of your sticks. I'm going to start head on first, and then I'll go a bit on a diagonal. Same position with the arms. You're thinking of 11 and 1 o'clock. I'm going to take my right foot forward. So now I'm going to do that mirroring, and my left leg back. So we worked into our feet earlier because I really want you to have that dorsiflexion anchor with the ball of that back foot. When you're performing your lunge, I want you to be mindful that that back heel is not torquing out or inward. So again, take some notes along the way with what's happening with your body. Squeeze your seat and close the rib cage so we can activate that front line. Tailbone is going to be slightly under. So again, boom, front line is on. Arms below the shoulder line, and we're going to go 4 counts down, pulling ourselves to the bottom of the lunge. Squeeze, so down 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, drive up 2, 3, 4. Good. I'm pushing about 30-40% into the stick, up for 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 more. Down 1, push into 6, pull yourself into the lunge. Watch that alignment, up 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 3 more. Pull down 1. Work for it. 2, 3, 4. Up 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more strong. Down 1. Down 2. Pull. 3, 4. Drive through that front heel. Up 1, 2. Slow is hard. 3, 4. Again. Down 1. Pull down. 2. Push into those sticks. 3, 4. Proud chest. Up 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Other side. So I'm going to go a little bit on a diagonal. This is now going to be my right leg that is forward. Or left leg, I should say. Excuse me, left leg. So we're in our position. Tuck under, right? Elevate that heel. Find that front line. Arms are not too high. We have 6 lunges. Pack those shoulders 30 to 40%. Down 1. Down 2, 3, 4. Drive up. 1. Work for it. 2. Everything is lighting up. 3, 4. Again, down 1, 2, 3, 4, drive up. 1, heavy front heel, squeeze both glutes up. We have 4 more. Good. Down 1, don't hold your breath. 2, 3, 4, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want you to make the next 3 really work for it. And if you need to modify, go less of a count, maybe 2 count. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, drive up. 1, 2, shaken. 3, 4. 2 more. Push into the sticks, don't lose it. Find your focal point. Everything should be alive. Shoulders down away from the neck. Try not to compensate. 1 more. Down 1, down 2, 3, 4. There it is. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a moment. Step in. Shake out your legs. Lower both long sticks to the ground. Grab a sip of water. We're going to work laterally now. Back to our short stick. Now, again, with lateral lunges, or similar, the Cossack squat, everybody's mobility, flexibility, strength, and stability is different. Your legs should feel alive right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a little bit sore tomorrow. We're going to be stepping out into a lateral lunge, just 3 times on each side. We're going to rotate our torso, putting a little bit more work into the glute, into the hip on that side. When you're going for the rotation, especially ladies, those of us with really mobile pelvises, I want you to be mindful of the alignment. So I will perform one head on, and then I'm going to go a little bit to the side so you can see what I'm talking about. Take your stick, lower back, not too high, so a little bit higher than the tailbone. So I'm going to push, again, flexing my palms into the stick so that I could close that rib cage. Facing the camera, I'm going to step out with my right leg into a lateral lunge. So I'm going to step out, push the seat back, chest is staying as upright as possible, slight tug of that tailbone, and now I'm going to slightly rotate over that right thigh, feeling that, come back through center. Now I'm going to push off that right leg and return to standing. Step out, going deeper, setting the hips back, lift the belly, lengthen through that T-spine, lengthen through the lower back, rotate, putting my body weight into that thigh, come back through center, and step out of it. So I'm going to do one more with the leg going to the right, step out. Now you'll see I got to adjust. I'm going to pull that navel in, lengthen the tailbone, push into the stick, rotate the chest over. I'm really putting my work into that right leg, come through center, and step out. Excellent. So we're going to do 3 to the other side, and then we're going to get into our core work. Stepping out to the left. Step out to the left. Go only where you're comfortable. Grip the ground with the feet. Rotate over. Proud chest. Really weighting into that left seat. Coming through center. Now I'm going to power up, drive off that left side, and return. Step out. Watch again the alignment with your pelvis. Come across. I can feel that. Come through center and step. Last one. I'll do this on a diagonal too. Lift the belly, proud chest. Go into the lateral lunge. Rotate. I'm loading that left leg. Coming back through center and push off. Excellent. So take a second, shake it out. That should have gotten you nice and sweaty. Working strength, single leg exercises. We're going to get into a couple of core variations before we wrap up today's class with our stretching. Now, before we take it to the ground, we're going to do a standing plank with our 2 long sticks. Super simple, yet when you make the connection, it's kind of sneaky hard. So if I'm working with a client who has had a C-section or a hernia repair, or they're coming back from some other injury, or they have a terrible anterior pelvic tilt, taking them standing, or even recovering from anything with their shoulders, right? You're gonna do a standing plank. So our sticks, we're gonna step in, but they're still gonna be at that like 11 and 1 o'clock. Your elbows aren't gonna be up too high. I want you to be able to hold on so that you could corkscrew the knuckles. So if you see me face on, I'm gonna corkscrew the knuckles. And when that happens, my shoulders are naturally going to activate and they're going to pack down, and I'm going to feel that activation through the posterior. Step in with your feet together. Bottom of the sticks are angled in towards you. Shoulders down and back. Corkscrew the knuckles in. Stand nice and tall. I'm going to step in a little bit more. Now, with all of your strength, I want you to push down into the floor. I also use this as a primer for pull-ups, chin-ups, any like kind of pulling exercise. It might not seem much at the time, but once you're done, you'll feel it. So take a moment, keep pushing. We're gonna hold for another 30 seconds. If you need to stop throughout the 30 seconds, stop and then rejoin us. Again, know your body, know your limits. Now, 80 to 90% of your strength. You should be shaking. Zip up the front line of the body. Take that tailbone under. Stay in that activation. Last 10 seconds. Quiver along the way. Everything's lit up. Keep corkscrewing those knuckles forward. And recover. Whew, excellent. 6 to the ground. We're going to do 2 variations of dead bug. One we're going to perform with a stick in our hands with straight legs, and if you have any issues with your back, you can modify by having a bent knee. The second dead bug variation we're going to do, we're again on our back in the supine position, taking the stick and getting feedback from pushing into the thigh and the stick into the thigh. So coming down, grab your short stick. Make sure you have some space. I had to clear out my kettlebells there. So take a second, settle your lower back. Now I'm taking that anterior tilt out and I'm going to slightly tuck the tailbone, and right now, boom, I could already feel my front line acting up. Recti abdominal muscles are closing in, right? We're not splaying them open. And everybody, please be mindful. So if you're doing too many and your back lets go, take a moment to take a breather or reset your position. If you want to make it challenging, your head is going to be elevated. You could also keep your head down. I'm going to keep my head up. So stick is above the chest line, and you're going to pull apart on the stick. Legs lengthen, flex the feet. So I haven't even done anything, and I could feel that activation. I pull apart, lowering my left leg, push into the stick as I come back up with the stick over the chest. Pull apart as I flex through the foot, lowering that right leg, ribcage stays closed, push into the stick, come back up to start. Again, pull apart, chin neutral, right? Come up, or chin tucked I should say. Pull apart. Breathing, ribcage closed. Exhale, push. Let's do one more, head down if needed. Pull apart, drive down through that leg. Find that tension, ribcage closed. Push into the stick, come up. Last one, pull apart. Nice and slow, press down. Everything is burning, staying connected. Push into the stick. Come to the top and take a moment. Woo! Now, bent knee, dead bug with feedback from the stick. Then we're going to get into our stretching. Flex your feet. Stick is going to be about mid-thigh. Take a moment and tuck under. So I'm already fatigued. I could feel it already, and I haven't even lengthened the leg. What we're going to do is 3 and 3. Take a breather if needed. So picture a block between the thighs. I could say up or down, and you're pushing the leg crazy. Forward with the thigh. Flex, right leg. Pull in. Inhale. Exhale, pull in. So you have 2 more. I want you to, again, think of flexing through the foot, driving down, creating that tension, not disconnecting from the lower back. Bring it back in. Other side. Push through the heel, lower down, drive it back up, bring it back into the stick. Last time. Take a break if needed. Left or right leg, lengthens, push down, take it right back up, feel that activation, draw it back in. Last one on the other side. Extend. Rib cage closed. Watch that alignment. Stay connected with the lower back. Take it back up. Draw it into the stick. And relax. Feet to the floor. Short stick to the floor. Now, we're going to go into straddle. From straddle, we're going to go into our half kneeling monkey hang. And then we're going to take it to standing. Finishing with 2 variations of bow and arrow. Now I have really, again, mobile hips, so I'm going to narrow my straddle just a little bit. I know George does too. He's even more mobile than I am. So your stick is mid-arch of the foot. Sit nice and tall on your sit bones. We've already activated a lot of our inner thigh when we were working into our slap shot and our lateral lunge variation. Now, bend the stick. I'm going to actively flex my feet. Sitting tall on the sit bones, pack those shoulders, right? Again, watch the alignment with your back. So no rib flare. If those ribs come in, you'll fix what happens with the tailbone. Change to a point. Wrap the toes over the top of the stick. Everything should light up a little bit, right? And now change back to a flex. Maybe bend the elbows a little bit more. Sitting tall. Change to a point. Wrap over. Push down into the floor. Now I can feel that a little bit deeper. We're going to do 1 more flex, 1 more point. Flex. Maybe you go a little bit wider, or maybe you go deeper with that flex and you could really feel yourself driving down into the floor. And now the last one, point, bend, and if you would like, this is personal to you, without rounding that spine. So corkscrew those elbows in towards the chest and hinge forward. Breathe. 4 counts. Hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, on 4, upright the chest first, start to lengthen the arms, drop the stick. Now don't come out of this fast. Take hold of behind the knees, slide those heels in, and before we go to our monkey hang, take a moment and just body weight 90-90, so we don't shock the system before we stand up. Use your hands as your guide. 1 more each side. Excuse me. Perfect. Okay, coming to stand, single stick. We're going to take our stick to our left side, and I want you to hold up nice and high. Outside, right leg is going to cross over that inside left leg. I'm going to take my back knee to the ground, and it's a little bit windshield wiper, similar to if you're doing a Turkish get-up, how we windshield wiper. This is also turned out that front leg. Now I'm going to squeeze my back left glute, take the tailbone under, take my right hand across, pushing about 30% into the stick, 20-30%. I'm going to wrap across, looking over my right shoulder. I'm allowing my left hip to lean out towards the window. Come through center, slide the left hand down, work in that front line, tall, tailbone under, proud chest. Slide your hand up again, go right back into it. Take it across. Inhaling and exhaling. Feels so good. Getting into those lateral lines, slide the hand down, look back behind you. I'm pushing into the stick as I do so. Good. Come up. Now, square off your lunge. So we're squared. Drive through that front heel. Come to standing. And we switch to the other side. Hold up high. Left leg crossing over the right. Knee to the floor. Turned out. Turned out. Kind of a hang here, getting that nice traction. Here's that left hand. Coming across. Look over the left shoulder. Notice if this shoulder's hiking up, right? Relax that shoulder down. As we come through center, release. Front line. Now again, take the hips under, push down into the stick. Come back up. All right, if it got away from you, take that stick in close to your hip line again. Rotate. Back through center. Slide your hand down. Look behind you. Push down into the right stick. Hold. Come back through center. Take a moment. Square off the front foot. Square off the back. Slight tuck of that tailbone. Drive down through the heel. Come to standing. So here we are, the last two. Bow and arrow. I'll keep it on that right side. So I'm in a wider stance and the stick is about 2 to 3 inches out from the midline. Left thumb is going to come down. Remember, right hand's going to find that sticker. When you go into your bow and arrow, lead with the hips first. Lead with the hip, push out with the arms. This top left arm I'm kind of pulling back with as my right arm is pressing forward. Notice again, that right shoulder should be down away from your ear. Look upward towards the ceiling. Hold 4 count. Hold 1, 2, 3. On 4, start to take it in. Good. Going over to the other side. About 2 to 3 inches out from that midline. Wide stance. Again, right hand, thumb down so the palm is facing towards the camera. Spin your stick, of course, and then lead with the hips, then with the arms. I'm leveraging, I'm pulling back with that top right arm. I'm squeezing the glutes, right? The tailbone's under, left shoulder down away from the ear. If I want to get kind of deeper into that lateral and front line, I'm going to look upward towards the ceiling. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly come out of it. Last exercise, going back, bow and arrow. This time we're going to do a progression. If it is too uncomfortable, because it's important to be able to cross over and really grip the ground with both feet, you could stagger your stance and step back with a foot as a modification. So I'm set up, my left leg, crossing over that right leg. Pushing into the ground with the feet, squeezing the thighs together, squeezing the glutes. My stick is going to come out a little bit further. That left hand again, palm is facing forward with the thumb down. I'm going to lead with the hips and then press out. So there's a little bit more of a balance component to this one. Again, squeeze, tuck under, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and take it back in. Love the way that feels. Shake it out. Going over to the other side, we've got our right leg crossing over the left. You may feel a difference between the two. So start with the feet. Push down into the feet. Squeeze the inner thighs. Squeeze the seat. Close that rib cage. Light up the front of the body. Here comes my puppy. End of class. Good girl who made it through the class. This is definitely going to be my harder side. I can already feel it. I'm pushing out. Hold here. Tailbone under. Pull back with that top arm. Breathe. Hold 4, Almost there. And take a moment. Slowly, slowly come out of it. So thank you so much for joining me in class today. Everybody, here is Maggie May, my 15-week-old cockapoo. Class will now be uploaded to the Instagram main page. Later on, it'll be on the Stick Mobility YouTube channel. And remember, they have a kick-ass podcast with amazing guests that you could listen to on Apple, on Spotify. I think it streams on pretty much any service. But I will see you next Tuesday. And again, I'm Kelly Manzone at KelsBells88 on Instagram. And if you ever have any questions or feedback, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I will see you soon. Take care.